Hello YouTube, Spencer here with GouldArrow.com. I'm here today to show you a new product that's out on the market. It's from a company called JSP ARC. I know some of the people that work at the company, so I got a sneak peek at what they're making and how it can benefit you as the TIG welder. So conventionally, we'd normally buy TIG electrodes in this format, and it works out great for a lot of applications, typically sold in anywhere from 6, 8, 10 packs in a 7-inch long format. And they're normally used in a real big torch like this. Challenge comes is if you want to use a smaller torch like this, then you have to cut the tungsten in half or less than that, or some other size that you need to get a smaller electrode that would fit in a small torch setup like this. The reason you use a small torch like this is if you're building like a roll cage, car chassis, something of that nature, where you need to get into a real tight area and you don't have room for a monster or something like this size. So you can divide the cut tungsten at home yourself. The right way to do it is to use a grinder wheel or cutting wheel, some sort of cutting, grinding action to divide it into. If you try nips, if you try a shear, if you try snapping it in half, it can shatter it because tungsten is very hard. It's one of the hardest metals on earth. It's a main alloying element in carbide teeth of like saw blades and stuff like that. It will shatter, and then you find out later when you go strike your arc that your arc's flying all over the place. What's going wrong? Now you wasted time, you wasted money on your electrode and so forth. So if you're going to do it at home, DIY type, you can cut them in half with a grinder wheel. But you know, welding is a high-paying skill out there if you're running a company, or if you're hiring welders, if you run a welding company. So in fact, they usually have like the interns or the newbies, the guys that are going out and grinding the tungsten. It's viewed as kind of a lower ladder skill versus the guys doing a perfect stack of dimes on some sort of like motorcycle frame or something in that nature. So you can definitely do it yourself, but if you're looking for every edge up and just something where you don't have to hassle with it, that's where JSP has come in with these series of electrodes that are already at half length. It's pretty common size for this small torch right here. As you can see, the size difference, just length and everything. These electrodes are a little over 3 inches long, and they come in a higher count pack. So when you look at the electrode sold here and the electrode sold here, the price per total length of the electrode is very comparable. And then you stack on top of that what you're going to pay a welder at, like, you know, some higher rate, $40, $50, $60 an hour, whatever it might be. What is his time worth to sit there farting around cutting in the tungsten? This is definitely, if this is something your company needs, then it could be definitely a good efficiency savings for you. The other thing too is if you're you know, running like an ISO shop or something like that, according to the AWS spec ends, these guys are supposed to have a color code on them. So you cut them in half, well, you lost your color code on half your rods. Now you got to go paint them if you're trying to stay 100% compliant. Again, if you're a DIY guy or in your own shop, whatever makes it work for you. But just getting into the product here, we'll zoom in on this and show you a little bit more details. But there's three sizes. They come in this kind of format. The bag keeps everything intact. This is fulfilled by Amazon. There's links below where you can buy these. And there are 3 sizes. So we have the smallest guy, which is 40 thousandths 040 diameter by 3.34, sold in an 18 count, compared to something like this, which is just sold in a 10 count. So similar price point. This one's going for $17.99 right here. Let's pull it out. And we'll go again, zoom in more details, show you more details, but a bunch of little rods. Comes in a plastic tube, so they already have the color, the blue color code on the end. That's another thing, is currently these are offered in 2% lanthanated, which is a very common kind of tungsten electrode. This allows you to do AC/DC, weld on steel, aluminum, stainless, so it's kind of a jack of all trades. Works really great on inverter welders like this Lincoln Square Wave 200, which is my main machine right here. So it works good with that. But back to more of the sizes. So 40 thousandths 18 count. Then we have a 1/16 rod at 14 count. And then we have the biggest one, which is 3/32 at a 12 count. So a lot of these These bigger ones are either sold at even a higher price point, or you might only get like 6 to 8 rods in there. So it's something to look out for. So that's that whole setup right there. And again, they come in their own little storage tube. Like when you get to these, you cut them in half. They can get stuck down in there. You have to fart around with that. So that's more time lost. So this is all about just convenience and efficiency, especially if you're running a shop and you're trying to just maximize your output per day and get the most value you can out of the welders in your shop. So that's kind of a high level overview of the product, and we'll go into a zoom in on what this stuff looks like more in detail. If you've seen plenty of tungsten rods, nothing too new, it's just the packaging and the format and the size offered. Alright, so looking at the details here. Got the 2 different torches, of course the conventional long large torch and the small one, so you can see what they're like up front. They both have 332 rods in them. And getting into, you know, what your people are used to normally buying. So these kind of packs right here. And typically the larger the electrode, they might reduce the count on those. These smaller 40 thousandths and the 16th, they're sold in like typically a 10 pack. Showing you how all that works. May or may not show up, but if you're trying to keep all your electrodes separate, you know, and organized, when you cut these guys in half and then you try to put them back into the package, they can kind of get stuck in there. They're kind of finicky with the style of packaging to deal with anyway. It works out. It's kind of what's normal. So getting into what these guys are. So here's the actual 3 different sizes as you use them, store them in your machine. When you get them, here's what they look like with the packaging and everything. They're all identified. Let's see, getting into it. Here's one of the first guys. This is 40 thousandths right there, and then you can keep them all sharp and put them back in the tube. There's 18 rods right there. Fast and easy to put it back. You know, it's a lot about speed too. You know, if you're trying to dig some guy that's stuck halfway down that, you know, or you could leave it laying around or whatever. But you know, storage of a lot of this stuff, like when you buy a gas lens kit, you know, a lot of times something of that nature, you know, it's good to have the organization for that rather than just having little parts and pieces flying around everywhere. So getting into the next one. Here's the 16th inch. This is 14 of these guys. They're all precision ground, and you can see here, like as you roll it, where none of these things are bananaed out. They're all precise and very, very straight. They load it, you know, into the collets without jamming, and then they stick out and stay concentric with your cup, ceramic cup or Pyrex cup, whatever you want to run on your setup. And here's the big ones. This one almost fills the whole tube. Here's the 3/32, and 12 of them. So you are getting quite a few rods here. So it's not like one of those things. I've seen other products out there where they might have a price of like one of these packs, and you get like 3 of them or something like that, and they're like, what? So, you know, price wise, it's a good value for you. It's really not too much different, especially once you factor in what's your time worth to get all this organization, cutting, make sure it's all precise, ready to go, going for you. So there's the products right there. And of course, these are sold on Amazon. I have links below where you can buy them. And if you want to check out the website of these guys, JSPARC.com, quite a bit of good stuff on there. So that's the setup, and hopefully this will help all the welders out there.